Hi guys, welcome to another Transformation Tuesday, to July's Transformation Tuesday. I know that this month of July, I've done Transformation Tuesday a little different, and I did give a heads up, I believe at the start of June, that it would look differently for the summer and likely up until mid-September, the end of September. I haven't done a traditional Transformation Tuesday this month, but I've, posted little shorts that are Transformation Tuesday like, but I know it's not the usual videos that you guys have been getting. And if you're still around, thank you so much for sticking around. And if you're new here, welcome. Welcome. My name is Carrie Winchell. So today, I'm going to be working with The Right Doors Are Always Opening for Me. And I have a bunch of little different things to say today. And yeah, the right doors are always opening for me. And I do have notes if you see me looking down. This is just to help me to remember all of what I want to talk about, because sometimes I get a little brain fog. So, hi July, bye July. And I hope everyone's been keeping cool, right? It's been a fun summer so far. And for the intro today, I wanted to kind of talk about this concept of time a little bit. Right? So I don't know about you, but for me, it feels like time is going by quickly. It's like Monday's here 1 week, and then before we know it, it's Friday, and then it's Monday again. And I tested this out on my son, a few years ago, because I wanted to figure out if it was an age thing, that I wasn't sure, but because I was getting older, it made the time feel quicker. But I asked my son a couple years ago if he felt like the time was going by quicker, and if he felt like Christmas, the December holidays, if he felt like that came by quickly. Because when I was a little girl, it felt like Christmas would never get here. And my son's response was like, yes, Mom, Christmas, the time did come, it did come quickly. And so time is going by, and word on the street is that the earth is moving faster around the sun. For me, I take time personally, right? I take time personally. And the grounding statement I've been using this month, well, one of the grounding statements I've been using this month is thank you, breath, thank you, body. Thank you, breath, thank you, body. When I wake up in the mornings, because it helps me to just be present, right? Be present for the day, set my intention for the day. Because the time is moving by so quickly, right? Before, some days I start work, and then before I know it, it's 4 o'clock in the evening, and the day is just going by. And when you get into the autopilot of things, we're just moving to the next thing and the next thing, and then we forget that I'm alive, right? Like, this is a day of my life. And so thank you, breath, thank you, body, reminds me and connects me with being alive and being able to show up in my body, right? With the moment of being alive and being here now. So because I feel like life is going by so quickly, I feel like sometimes, and this might not apply to every single person who decides that they don't want to show up in my life anymore. But I feel like sometimes when people choose to not be a part of my life, right? I mean, it's their loss, but I feel like when they choose to not be a part of my life, I think that sometimes there is a grief that can set in because you recognize that life is moving by so quickly and you're not doing life with that person essentially, right? And that can feel personal. But nevertheless, thank you, breath, thank you, body, it is really good because it helps me to connect. Recently, I spent some time with my oldest friends. These are friends that I've had since I was 10 years old. And I remember coming back home and feeling so rested, even though we did a whole bunch of things, but feeling so rested and feeling blessed and feeling loved. And I really felt like the time was spent meaningful, right? The time was spent meaningful, and it felt really personal because it felt like I'm spending my time with quality people, right? Like I'm spending my time with people who are really right now helping me to connect with being present and helping me to connect with being alive. And so, my life felt really meaningful. And so it's personal. It's personal when you realize who you are here doing life with. And it's personal because you realize that whether or not these people are here, that you still have to show up and you still have to create meaning for your life because the time is going. So the right doors are always opening for me. The first prompt: what role does timing play in your goals? That's the first prompt. What role does timing play in your goals? And does timing trigger frustration and hopelessness for you? Or does it trigger trust and patience? Okay. I remember this saying growing up: time waits for no man. And yeah, time is it's not waiting, right? As we see, right? The clock keeps ticking, the days keep going, the weeks keep passing by, and it doesn't wait for anyone. So what role does timing play in your life? All right. Do you get triggered? Does timing trigger frustration and hopelessness for you, or does it trigger trust and patience? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a few, but what are the things that you want for your life, right? What are some things that you desire? What are some things that you've been putting that's on your bucket list and you've been saying, when I get enough money, when I get enough money? And tomorrow is not promised for any of us. Now, I'm not saying that you need to make unwise decisions to get to your bucket list, but time is not waiting for you. All right. So sometimes when we think about patience, yes, it's good to be patient, but you also have to ask yourself, how long do you want to be patient for? Okay. This thing on your bucket list, it's not a guarantee that in 5 years that not even so much that you're going to be here in 5 years, but maybe your health, maybe there might be changes with your health in 5 years. Hopefully not. But I think what I'm trying to say is understanding how to balance frustration, how to balance patience, right? Understanding what that means, right? If there's things that you want to do and you feel like it's never going to get here, which would mean the hopelessness, then maybe it might be time for you to take control of certain things. Maybe it might be time for you to make different choices and take your time more personal. Okay. Prompt number 2, do you trust yourself enough so that you know when it is time to close a door or to make a detour through another? Do you trust yourself enough so that you know when it is time to close a door or to make a detour through another? So prompt number 2, discernment. Discernment is really what comes up for me when I think about this prompt. So knowing when to pivot, right? Knowing when to close a door and to open another one. And not only to open it, but also giving yourself permission to walk through that door, right? So knowing when to close a door. And this is why I'm saying tomorrow is not promised, right? So are we spending time on something that's really not producing the outcome or producing the desired effect that we want? And what are you learning from that situation? What is that situation teaching you, right? Is this a patience situation or is this a pivot situation? All right. So recently I did a journaling exercise considering how time is going. And I asked myself, Carrie, what do you want? What do you want? What doors do you want open for you? What doors do you want to walk through? And, you know, I think I came up with about maybe 17, if not, I don't remember, but it was quite a number of items that I came up with when I was journaling. And, you know, we got to be clear. We got to be clear about the things that we want, right? So that we're not, for lack of a better term, wasting time, right? Because this is your life. You have to take the time of your life personal. Yeah, you got to take it personal. And tomorrow is not promised. I'm not trying to sound morbid or trying to sound like doom and gloom, but I really do think that sometimes your mortality is here to teach you about living and being present. And don't let the years go by. Don't let the years go by and you're still waiting to check things off of your bucket list. Find a way. I'm not sure what that way might look like for you. I don't know your life, right? But figure it out, because there's a lot going on in the world. And while it might feel like everybody's business is our business, and in some ways there's some truth in that, right? What affects one person affects another, right? But at the same time, I think we can get so lost and discouraged about all of the things that's not going right or not going the way that we want, that we forget to ask ourselves, but what do I want, right? Because at the end of the day, this is still your life, and joy is your birthright. Joy is your birthright. And my personal belief is that I don't think we're here. I mean, maybe some souls are here to be in suffering, but I know that from my life, I don't believe that I'm here to suffer. You know, I believe that I'm here to live my birthright, which is joy. So what do you want? What do you want? What doors do you want to be always opening for you? What doors do you want to walk through? And how can you show up? How can you show up with that in your body, right? And giving thanks because you do have your breathing, you do have your life force with you today. Thank you, breath. Thank you, body. So thank you guys. If you stayed for the whole video and you have not subscribed, definitely go ahead and subscribe, because you're here, right? Obviously you like what I'm saying, or what I'm saying is resonating with you. So subscribe, engage, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about some of the things that I've touched on. All right, and we'll catch up again in August. So hi July, bye July, and I'll talk to you guys later.